Let's rise for a moment of silence and then the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Jill, you please take the roll call?
Ms. Doherty. Here. Mr. Hoffman. Here. Mr. Hurley. Mr. George. Here. Mr. Conacher.
Here.
Ms. Metzler.
Here.
Mr. Norris.
Here.
Ms. Prickett. Mr. Zimmerman.
Here.
8 present, 1 absent.
All right, I need a motion and a second for the approval of the minutes of the Facility Committee meeting and the work session of August 11th, the Policy Committee meeting, the Finance Committee meeting, and the regular meeting of August 18th, and the Education Committee meeting of August 25th. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, say aye. Opposed? That passes. Now it's time for visitors' comments for agenda items. If you have any visitors' comments? Seeing none, we will move on to presentations or discussions. Is there anything? Nothing? All right, informational items. Tina Butler, Assistant Business Manager, will attend the Delaware Valley Association of School Business Officials 4-County Business Symposium at Skytop Lodge, Skytop, PA, from October 9th to the 10th at an approximate cost of $650. The Octorara Board of School Directors approves the general fund report for the period ending July 31st, 2025 and August 31st, 2025. Need a motion? Second? All those in favor? Aye. All right, the business manager report. Chuck? Bill? Okay, just for the record, the funds for the general fund amount to the amount of $1,507,715.97, and the cafeteria fund of $7,305.90, for a total of $1,515 and $21.87. All those in favor? No, I need a motion. Is there any discussion? You? No. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Recommended action items. We read A through R last time. The only one we have to add under letter R is Judge Unitas as a varsity football, as a volunteer coach for this current school year. So I need a motion and a second for those for A through R. Is there any discussion?
I had a question looking at item F, the contract with CCRN Educational Support Services for the PCA and bus aid services. Looking a little more closely at that contract, and maybe this question is for you, Cale. It was a little unclear if it's just their letter indicated a change to their rates. Is it changing or expanding what we are receiving from them as far as aids and that kind of thing?
May I? So this is just their annual contract. So typically in May and June, we have all of our vendors provide their new contracts for the upcoming year. CCRN, we presently only have 2 employees from them that run as bus aides. If we needed additional employees from them, we could. This is just their updated price schedule for the year. There are, if you look deeper at the contract, there are other price schedules in there for other services. In speaking with the rest of the leadership team, we've only used them for PCA and bus PCAs, which is why it's written that way in the agenda for this evening.
Okay, that's helpful to hear. I heard the question raised different times, different places recently. If families have already, I don't know if it's for PCA necessarily, or an RBT or an MT wraparound services, already funded, through medical assistance for a child with a diagnosis. Are we accepting those, or are we paying for that separately as a district?
So Any service that a student is in need of by way of their IEP would be something that the district is encumbering the burden of. So we would not be asking parents to go and source their own TSSs, behavioral health technicians from any agency, and we wouldn't put that burden on their insurance or on MA either. So if it's something that an IEP team has arrived at saying that there's data to support the need for a PCA, the district would be the one to encumber that.
Do you know how long that's been the practice, or is that an update?
That's essentially been the practice. I think you're probably speaking to something specific that maybe would be an agenda item for, I don't know if it would be an executive session or if it's something that you would want to talk about in another forum.
I just saw the list of services provided here of things that I know can be provided by insurance. And I think just as a steward of our district resources, if there is a possibility, I mean, it's actually, as far as I know, I don't really know of any exceptions where a child would have a diagnosis that these services wouldn't be covered by their medical assistance insurance. So just as we're stewarding our district resources, I would advocate that we allow people to use their wraparound services. If there's a PCA or somebody who would, or an MT or somebody who would already know the child, that could be utilized instead of this contract with CCRN. I would just take this moment to note that that would be my preference as a steward of district resources.
All right, good enough. Thank you. All right. So I forget where I would need a motion for that. No, with discussion. No, we're ready for vote. Yep, need a vote. So all those in favors of passing A through R, say aye. Opposed? They pass. The following will act as action items that we'll need a voting on this evening. I will read them, and then we'll need a motion and a second vote following each. The Octorara Board of School Directors accept the resignation of Mr. James J.T. Fryer as Assistant Principal at the Octorara Area High School effective no later than November 6th, 2025. Can I get a motion? Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Letter T, that the Octorara Board of School Directors approve the contract with Ms. Nicole Dean as the Chief Human Resources Officer to be with a date to be determined through June 30th, 2030. I need a motion. All those in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion passes. U, that the Octorara Board of School Directors approve the contract with Mr. Michael Stabile as the Chief Financial Officer effective to be determined through June 30th, 2030. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
And a second? No. Donna. All those in favor, say, was there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Letter V, that the Octorara Board of School Directors approve Mr. Matthew Bristow as the Director of Safety and Security per the attached job description effective, again, pending completion of the employee-related documents required by law in the district. Mr. Bristol's salary will be $95,000 prorated, and this is a new position. Oh, October 1st. Good to know. Can I get a motion? Yes, Donna, yeah. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Letter W, that the Octorara Board of School Directors approves Mr. James Bookman as night custodian, lead custodial role effective to be determined pending completion of employee-related documents required by law in the district. Mr. Bookman's rate will be $24.03 per hour for 8 hours per day, replacing a fellow who transferred. Can I get a motion? Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Letter X, that the Octorara Board of School Directors approve the student services request with the Chester County Intermediate Unit for supervisor on assignment effective September 15th, 2025. Can I get a motion? Second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Letter Y, that the Octorara Board of School Directors approve the following supplemental contract for the 24-25 school year. Jen Hoskins, teacher leader, at 3 points at $620 per point, for a total of $1,860. And a second? Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Letter Z, that the Octorara Board of School Directors approve the following supplemental contracts for the 25-26 school year. Scott Cullen, marching band, 5 points at $620 for a total of $3,100. Andrew Reynolds, marching band assistant, 3 points at $620 for a total of $1,860. Elaine Russell is band front, 3 points at $620 for a total of $1,860. And Ryan Fegley, percussionist, July through September, 2 points at $620 for a total of $1,240. Can I get a motion? And a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Double A, that the Octorara Board of School Directors approve the signal services quote to repair the non-functioning flashing school lights on Route 41 at a cost of $19,753. Can I get a motion? Second? Any discussion? At the risk of, I know we had discussed this. I think Chuck's advice is wise to just pay it this year, and then we'll enter a discussion with the township on continuing this agreement, just to facilitate the prompt repair. What's at question, folks, is the school district's obligation to maintain those lights. So there's some issues with the interpretation of the law, apparently, so we're going to look into that. So having said that.
Brian.
What?
I make a motion, we table this till next month. Let's push it back a month, let's get some more information, talk to other parties.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I agree. I don't want to continue a precedence of something that we're not responsible for. And I think that the necessity of these lights is in question as well. It's not
Yeah.
fully a pedestrian crossing
Mm.
or the schools that have flashing lights or something like that. I don't know if it justifies $20,000.
I make a motion to second, I'll second Charlie's motion to table it until October.
All right. All right. Yeah. So that's fine. So we need to vote on that on that change. Yep, to table double A for 1 month. Yep. All right, so all those in favor of tabling it? Yep. Opposed? Tabling it passes till next month. Letter BB, that the Octorara School Directors approve the following policies first reading. Number 108, adoption of primary resources. 109, adoption of secondary resources. 112, school counseling. 625, the use of procurement cards. Can I get a motion?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes. CC, that the Octorara Board of School Directors approve the following policies second reading. 113, special education. 626.1, travel reimbursement, federal programs, with the change that'll come, some wording with a pending board approval, the addition of board approval for the travel reimbursement, as for some of the changes on that. And then 827, conflict of interest. Can I get a motion? Any discussion? And I'm sure Joanne will cover some of this in their policy review of the meeting. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes. DD, that the Octorara Board of School Directors approve the changes of the early notification of retirement incentive plan originally adopted on April 14th, 2024. Can I get a motion? And a second? Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion passes. EE, that the Octorara Board of School Directors approve the resolution allowing Dr. Sean Dukevich, Superintendent, to sign and/or e-sign any and all contracts, agreements, grants, and/or licenses with the Pennsylvania Department of Education effective September 1st, 2025. Can I get a motion? Any discussion? No, yeah. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes. I think we're just going to call you Dr. D. Yeah. It'd be a lot simpler. We'll move to the policy committee report. Joanne?
Yes, we met in this evening at in this room at 6 o'clock this evening, with the second reading through the special education, with no changes from the first reading. That was just an update from the Pennsylvania PSBA about what merits recording or not recording meetings. The 626.1 travel reimbursement policy, Brian mentioned there were some changes. That was just in addition to clarify under the delegation of responsibility, we're just going to insert that there must be prior written approval from the board to incur travel costs. That phrase "from the board" wasn't in there. We added that from the first reading, so that's part of what we approved with the second reading. Our policy 827, the conflict of interest, no changes from the first reading. We did do the first reading of adoption 108, adoption of primary resources. That is just a change of wording. Instead of textbooks, we're using that language of primary resources to reflect more current practices and be consistent with policy 109, which is next. That's adoption of the secondary resources with that change of wording throughout. In policy 112 on school counseling, that's an update from the language of guidance counseling to call it school counseling throughout that policy. And policy 626 procurement cards, our first reading of that. We decided there's some things to check about just some possible wording changes. We're going to check the AR and come back to this one next time before making some changes. We did review policy 111 on lesson plans. That was brought back after some discussion last month. Dr. Flojo checked to ensure that that policy is in line with the union contract and it does meet those expectations. So that was it for our policy meeting this evening.
All right, thank you. And did we decide, Charlie, did you keep any notes on our brief finance meeting?
Yeah, we met after the policy committee meeting tonight in this room and briefly discussed the school zone lights. There's an invoice for $19,753 that we're a little bit uncertain about. So we decided to get some more information and bring it up next month.
The IU report, which is me, we met, the IU board met August 20th. It was a, sort of a back-to-school meeting. We discussed the goals and some of the overview of student services for the coming year. We got a breakdown of some of the enrollment trends regarding the career and technical, the BVA, things like that. For instance, and the TCHS enrollment is up to 3,007 students across the 3 campuses. The BVA is up to, the summer program was 711 students, 1,285 course enrollments, and 147 graduates. The overall, the enrollment increased by 20% for the current year, up to 2,600 students. And that was the gist of our meeting. We have a open house Wednesday down at the old Avon Grove campus to see that ribbon cutting there. I'm excited to see the facilities down there and the services that that building is going to be able to provide for students at our end of the county it's going to be a good thing. So that was that. Any new business? No? Other items and announcements? None? All right, now it's time for visitors' comments for anything general. Any visitors' comments? Come on down. Come on down.
Hi, good evening. I'm Catherine Klingensmith, Parksburg Borough. And I just wanted to, come this evening and say welcome back to a new school year. As I think about this school year, I just think that there's a lot of opportunities ahead of us. I hope that as we embark on this school year as a community together, there will be lots of underpinnings that we can't move forward with the opportunities ahead of us without transparency and honesty. So my first ask of the board as we venture into this new school year is those two items. I would just like to thank all of our teachers for getting the school year off to a great start. I hope that many members in this room have taken the opportunity to go to football games and all the beginning of the year activities. Our kids are very engaged and excited about all of the happenings around, and I think in a large part that's because of the work and dedication of our teachers and our administrators. As a parent in the district, I would like to just extend some positive thoughts to Mrs. Lease. We do hope that she is well and is able to return to us quickly, but we would like to let her know that we are really thinking about her and keeping her in our prayers and thoughts, as we know this must be a difficult time. As I think about the opportunities of this year, 3 things came to mind that I would ask the board to kind of keep in mind, reflect about, especially as we think about things being just on the heels of a new school year, potentially research and review as the year moves on. My first thought is that as we are in this opportunity of a new middle school model, that the middle school honors courses be highly considered as we're moving forward. As a parent who has had a middle schooler transition to high school, having those honors courses, both in math and language arts and ELA, have been really critical to making that transition to high school honors courses, and I am deeply concerned that I think that there's an opportunity, again, back to that word, to reflect, research, and review how we are running those middle school courses so that we can best prepare our high schoolers as they transition. Speaking of the high school, I really appreciate the work that Dr. Flojo, and I know some of there was a new reading of a board policy this evening about course resources. As a new ninth grade parent, I was a little surprised and concerned to go to back to school night and not see any textbooks listed for any of my child's honors courses. While I know that the curriculum resides with the standards and truly, the professional in the room, I know that good resources are critical to kind of keeping the ship steady on the path. And I am concerned about the web is a great resource, but it is one, and I am concerned that without vetted course resources for some of our courses listed, that our kids may have some trouble navigating that. There's just a lot out there, and I want to make sure that they're getting the best information possible. My third item to just kind of please bear in mind, and as we think about this year, is that while I know that CKLA has been a great addition to our ELA program, and we did hear from our 3, 4, 5 teachers, that this year they are sort of trialing, not having a dedicated social studies curriculum and resource beyond CKLA. I really would like for, as the year moves forward, that be something that is kind of continued to be reviewed and reflected on, as I am concerned that there may be some gaps in student learning. It was, I know that it's important for our students to grow up and be great citizens of our community, and I think with just leaning on CKLA, I worry that there may be some gaps. So I hope that this year brings all of the opportunities that our children are looking forward to, and I appreciate all of the work of everyone in this room. So thank you, and I look forward to a great year together.
Thank you for those thoughtful comments. Perhaps Flojo or
Thank you.
Chris could answer.
I just want to discuss two of those items. Did your children's teachers not provide a syllabus with a listing of readings for honors courses?
So we did attend the open house last week, and syllabuses were provided, but in the core courses, the syllabuses were provided, but no textbooks were listed. As a matter of fact, in one of the courses it said, like, there will be no textbook. We may reference this particular item. So I will reach out, kind of back out to them, but it was just a surprise. It was something I was not expecting. I was expecting to see that there were really great guiding resources for our kids, particularly as they navigate honors coursework at the high school.
Will you let me know what courses I can
Yeah, I'm
check?
happy-
Because
I'm happy to reach out
The
and-
resources should be listed on the syllabus when they're
Okay.
handed out.
Yeah.
And then the third item, it's not actually accurate that
Oh, I'm
3 to
sorry.
5 is not teaching social studies, that they're piloting CKLA. Teachers were given the grace of not having to teach an additional
Right.
resource while they are implementing CKLA and Amplify for last year and for this year. But we will be going back to a regular structured time. That time was given because the resource is pretty extensive, CKLA. They had a lot to learn, a lot of new things, including instructional strategies and interventions with this program. And we thought reading was very important, and we would allow that time.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going back to a regular structured time for social studies next school year. And for this year, we're looking at supplemental resources to help teachers do units, especially for geography.
Okay.
Mrs. King also discussed that today. We were working on our social studies curriculum review because social studies is up this year.
Yes, and I appreciate bringing
Yeah.
the curriculum review
Yeah.
cycle back. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other visitors' comments? No? All right, that takes us to administrator comments and announcements. Who's the first victim? You.
I just wanted to say something that has come up a lot recently, and something that like started off as a joke in one of our classes, but became like a very impassioned discussion, was about the portion sizes and our lunches. I mean, they're just too small for high schoolers, and it's something that I know a lot of kids feel really strongly about. I've heard from a lot of kids. And we were talking in the leadership thing that I did with Dr. Proper about addressing like students' basic needs and how going to the root of problems could really solve a lot of behavioral issues and class cuts and things like that, rather than addressing those issues head on. I feel like this is somewhere where if students aren't getting enough food at home, if they don't have access to a full 3 meals, if that's something that we're able to provide, if we're able to provide them with more food, that would give them more energy, it would help them pay attention in class, it could encourage class engagement, could stop school, class cuts. And I think that's just somewhere where we could look at, if we have the budget for it, definitely review like what our meal plan looks like now and what we can improve.
Thank you. Dr. Perry?
Good evening, everyone. I just want to first start by just thanking the board for the support of creating a middle school here in Octorara. It has, it is not, excuse me, lost what a commitment that is to a middle school to be able to reorganize the district and reduce by one school, one outgrowth being a middle school, another one being a 3-grade intermediate school. So I want to thank you for that. And I'm very happy to, sit here this evening and report that the transition to the middle school has been fairly smooth. The facilities department has done an amazing job of preparing the classrooms and the buildings for all of the movement of teacher supplies. I believe virtually every teacher in the middle school footprint is in a classroom that's different from the one that they were in previously, with the exception of maybe like 2 folks. So that was a huge undertaking, and it wasn't only in this building, it was across the street as well. The launch of the new middle school structure with our daily advisory, the learning communities, and the exploratory rotations has been met with positive feedback from students, families, and from staff. A recent survey that was shared with families report a very favorable view of our Sneak a Peek program, and more than 92% of the families that responded to a survey indicated that their children had a positive first week of school. So the survey went out at the end of the first week, and very happy to report that 92% of the families that responded indicated that their children had a positive experience in the middle school. Families highlighted the caring teachers, the calm atmosphere that resulted from not having bells. Without the bells, we're not putting all 450 students in the hallways 7 times a day as they all transition. So there are different transition times for the grades and for the learning communities, which is made for a much safer, much calmer, and much better received hallways for the transitions. And it's great to see their friends again. After a long summer, folks going different ways and not having an opportunity to connect with their friends, that's been a very positive piece as well. Early feedback has also been very celebratory of the no cell phone policy. Students are used now, at this point in time, to using their lockers and turning their cell phones off and putting their book bag and their cell phones in their locker, which really is, as one teacher mentioned, this has been a game changer. The children are much more attentive in school. They're not interrupted nor distressed by social media posts that they see while they're in school. It's just been as the teachers mentioned, game changer with respect to student attentiveness, students' ability to just sit and talk with their friends, right? Read facial expressions, body language, and be able to develop those social skills that are so important. Staff collaboration support. Teachers have fully embraced the flexibility that our learning communities model has provided. They collaborate daily to support students academically and socially. Support staff and community partners such as The Point have also been actively engaged in student well-being. And the students have responded well to the advisory activities, the PBIS routines, and to restorative practices. We're creating an environment where belonging, accountability, and fun are shaping the middle school experience from the start. So once again, I thank you for the support. We have a long way to go, as I mentioned to the staff at our most recent faculty meeting. I think like the macro pieces are done, right? Like we have a schedule, we have structures in place. There's a lot of refinement that will continue throughout this year and in the coming years, but we'll continue to partner with the teachers and partner with our families and our students to provide for a premier middle school that the children deserve. So thank you very much.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I'd just like to follow up a little bit. I was speaking with Ms. Metzler, and I'm sorry for community and board members that maybe didn't have the context of our conversation, and I was trying to think of a way to phrase it that leaves any particular students out. So I'm going to do my best to share the context of the conversation, because there is good merit, and I think it's worth the discussion and the public knowledge. Something that was occurring, we realized accidentally last year, is there were a handful of students in our primary grades that were having outside service providers who were sending in staff that would be called therapeutic staff supports or behavioral health technicians. And these were looking like one-on-one aides for students, except what was happening is the district didn't have ownership or oversight of what was occurring. So unfortunately, there was a situation that was brought to the district's attention where an agency wasn't participating or partnering with the district. And we had to consult with legal to discuss if it's viable and is it the appropriate thing for the district to be permitting outside providers to deliver a service to our students when we don't have any oversight. So last December, we had worked with both our solicitor as well as our special education attorneys to analyze Title 22 of School Code, as well as our own board policy 146, which is the student services policy. And it was decided that it's not in the district's best interest to allow outside organizations, companies, whether they're for pay or from insurance money, to deliver services, but instead, we acknowledge that it's the district's obligation. Policy 146 actually says that behavioral health services shall be provided by the district. So not saying that the district ever wanted to take something away from any individual student. As we were looking at the list of students that maybe were affected by this, there was a direction and a memorandum that was shared with all of our principals and meetings that we had to discuss the process of having a meeting and working with families so that no one was taken by surprise and we could work together to be partners in making sure every student had the support that they're in need of. So just to give context to that conversation, I know it probably didn't sound very forward-facing, but I want to share as much of it as I can, just so that there is something to help you understand the content. And if there's more information that you'd like from me, I'd be happy to help pass that through our leadership to the school board or anything that you'd like for the community. And I would just like to take a moment and say one more thing. This evening was the approval of our supervisor of special education's resignation, Amanda Fratterman. She missed the 5-year mark to have with regret on the agenda item by about 7 or 8 days, I think. I think she's right around her 5-year anniversary. But I just want to point out and say thank you to her for all of the all of the things that she's brought to the district and the advances that she's brought into special education. I won't go through the list of them with you this evening, but I just want to make sure that everyone is aware that she's done incredible things for the students and the community here, and she's going to leave big shoes to fill. So thank you to her.
I'll speak for Dr. Proper and thank Mr. Fryer for his time that he spent with us the last couple of years. He was a valuable resource to us, and we wish him the best in his next endeavor.
Thank you.
And I'd like to thank Mr. Udell, Ms. Knightley, Ms. Crunk, and Ms. Dr. King for participating in our social studies committee review for curriculum this year. They will be spending the next 2 months to review our K through 12 scope and sequence and resources.
Congratulations.
All right, and I will finish up by underscoring that losing Amanda and JT is a tough one, but we wish them the very best in their next endeavors. They have done great things in 6 to 7 days or whatever it was before 5 years. That's a tough one, but we will regret losing her for sure. I also just wanted to commend and underscore what's been shared a couple times tonight, which is about the operations of the school getting off to a great start. I was able to see the back-to-school nights, and there was just great attendance, great positivity. And if I had a nickel for every time I heard I graduated from here and I decided to come back and work here, oh gosh, it was amazing. So the Octorara pride was really thick over the last couple of weeks. So wanted to commend our teachers, our administrative staff, and everyone who's gotten the buildings off to a great start. Thank you.
All right, that moves us to board comments. Anybody have anything they'd like to share? No? Joellen?
Yeah, I wanted to just highlight something. We had the privilege last week at the work session, and I don't want it to get missed if there's people who just follow along with the regular meeting or the minutes. It was just such a privilege to hear from our 2 physics fight club students who just worked really hard and represented Octorara so well on an international stage. So I just wanted to thank them. It came back to me multiple times this week, not only as a highlight of that night, but also now in the events of the week as a highlight of Octorara at its core, as who we are and who we want to continue growing and to be a community. Their highlight that they took away was kind of the productive discussion and debate that they had with others, that's what they were bringing back as so valuable in their experience. And I just thought that was profound. I enjoyed hearing them reflect on times that Octorara has prepared and equipped them to be students who welcome and engage in some pushback and realize that actually brought them to conclusions that were true and good and beautiful. And I just want to take the moment to just declare that that is who we are as a community at Octorara. Thank them for being part of that, and just in the events right now reflect that that's who we are and who we're going to keep growing into.
Thank you. Anyone else? I had a couple things I wanted to share. First off, I know band parade season's coming up each of the next 3 Wednesdays. I think it's Solanco, New Holland, and then Ephrata. So, you know, if you get a chance to go see the parades and support our band, that'd be terrific. And also, I had the opportunity last week to take Dr. Tahal up on our invitation after our last EdCom meeting to go visit the intermediate school since the transition is over. And it was a terrific experience. I got there around lunchtime, so I was got to see some kids at the playground, got to see kids at lunch, got to see other kids in the hallway and in the classrooms. I can tell you I would have lost the bet regarding the transition and how smooth it apparently went. I don't mind sharing that. But the staff, everybody was just completely ecstatic about the change so far. So let's hope that continues. And I think I encourage board members that they get a chance to give the building heads a chance, give them a call, and you can get there during the day to go visit the buildings. I hope to do that throughout the other buildings here shortly as well. So that's it. Take the opportunity to read the following meetings that are coming up. We had the Policy Finance Committee meeting here earlier as stated. There was an executive session for personnel, legal, whatever, prior to this meeting, and we'll have another one afterwards to go over some things as well. We had the Education Committee meeting will be coming up Monday, September 22nd, 6 o'clock here at the Hub. The Facility Committee meeting will be Monday, October 13th, 2025, 6 o'clock here at the Multipurpose Room. The next regularly scheduled work session is Monday, October 13th, 2025, 7 o'clock here at the Middle School Multipurpose Room. The Policy Finance Committee meeting is Monday, October 20th, 2025, 6 o'clock here in the Multipurpose Room. The next regularly scheduled regular board meeting is Monday, October 20th, 7 o'clock here. And the Education Committee meeting in October is Monday, October 27th at the Hub at 6 o'clock. All right, if that's it, we'll call for adjournment. Can I get a motion? A vote? All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned.